All right, so you've built an AI agent. That's awesome. But now for the real challenge. How do you take it from a cool experiment and turn it into something truly robust? Something you can actually rely on for serious business automation. That's what we're diving into today.
Getting an agent to work is one thing. It's that initial aha moment. But then your project gets bigger, and suddenly you're asking, wait, how do I keep this thing from going off the rails? How do you stop it from becoming this unpredictable black box that you can't really trust? That's exactly the problem we're going to break down and solve.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. We'll call this the crawl phase. It's the simplest, most direct way to build an agent. It's what we're calling the all-in-one, tool-centric approach, where basically one single agent does, well, everything. So if you look at how this works, it's super straightforward. A request comes in, the agent does all of its thinking right there on the spot, it figures out which tools to use, calls them directly, and then spits out the final answer. It's all self-contained. Everything happens right inside that one little box. Now, the big win here is how simple and fast this is to set up. It's absolutely perfect for a quick proof of concept or maybe a really basic assistant. But, and this is a big but, the downsides are pretty serious. You have almost no control over it. It's a nightmare to debug when things go wrong. And you're completely at the mercy of your prompt. If that prompt isn't perfect, you risk hallucinations, where the AI just makes stuff up or does weird, unpredictable things. And that's a huge risk for any real business process. Let's make this real for a second. Imagine a simple support bot. A user messages, "Hey, can you change my email?" The agent kind of looks at its toolbox, sees get contact and update contact, figures, yep, I need both of those, runs them, and then sends back a reply. It works. Sure, it's simple, it's direct, but you have no idea how it decided to do that. It's a total black box. And right there, you hit the wall. This simple model is fine for simple stuff, but it just doesn't scale. So what happens when you need more? When you need reliability? When you need to handle more complex, specialized tasks? Well, you have to evolve your architecture. So let's move on to the walk phase. This is where we start orchestrating specialist agents. And the analogy here is perfect. Instead of one employee who's a jack of all trades, you hire a manager and a team of true specialists. Each one is an expert at one thing, and the manager just directs the traffic. So here's how it works. A request comes in, but this time it hits a main orchestrator agent. This agent doesn't actually do the work. Its only job is to look at the request and say, this is a job for the contact specialist, and routes it over. Then that specialist, who only has a very small, very relevant set of tools, does its thing and reports back. It's much more organized. And the benefits of this are just huge. You get this beautiful separation of duties. And because each agent is so focused, the risk of it hallucinating or doing something random plummets. It's modular. You can reuse these specialists. It's great. The only real downside is that, yeah, it's a little more complicated to set up. You now have this new job of making sure all these agents can talk to each other correctly. So let's take that same change my email request. This time, the main orchestrator gets it. It sees the word email and instantly knows this isn't for the ticket manager, this is for the contact manager. It smartly routes the job to that one specialist. See how much more controlled and intelligent that is? No guesswork involved. Okay, we've crawled, we've walked. Now it's time to run. And I want to be clear, this next step isn't just a small tweak. It is a massive, fundamental shift in how we should think about an agent's job. This is how you build for the big leagues. This is for enterprise-grade, rock-solid automation. The entire model is built on one powerful idea. You must separate the thinking from the doing. The agent becomes the brilliant strategist. It comes up with the master plan, but it doesn't push the buttons itself anymore. And the way we do this is with something called action-output routing. What that really means is the agent's final output isn't just a sentence. It's a structured command used in a format called JSON. Just think of JSON as a perfectly clear, non-negotiable work order. It's a set of instructions that any system can read without any confusion. So the agent decides what needs to happen, and the platform takes that work order and actually does. So the new flow looks like this. The agent gets the request. It can still use some tools, but only for analysis, right? To gather intelligence and understand the situation. But once it's done thinking, its one and only job is to generate that JSON work order. The platform then picks up that order, reads it, and executes the actions perfectly. Update a contact, send a specific reply, whatever the order says. And the beauty of this approach is just predictability. Total predictability. Because the output is this structured format, there's no room for the agent to go off script. It's completely transparent, so much easier to debug, and it scales like a dream. The only trade-off? You are shifting some of that logic from the agent into your platform. You have to build out that workflow, but the control you get in return is absolutely worth it. And here's a concrete example of what I mean. Instead of just making up a response, the agent produces this, a clean, machine-readable command. It says, here is the exact reply to send, here's the exact action to perform, and here's the exact data to use. There's zero ambiguity. It's a crystal clear set of instructions. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to rigidly pick one of these and stick with it. In fact, the most advanced, sophisticated systems actually create a smart hybrid. They take the best pieces from all the approaches we've talked about. In a really slick hybrid model, you can get even smarter about it. For example, your platform can do some of the boring work up front. Think about it. It can go fetch all the user's account details before the agent even sees the request. Then it passes all that info to the agent as context. This just frees up the agent to do what it does best, think, reason, and then output its final decision as that clean JSON command.
So when do you use which approach? Here's a simple rule of thumb. If your agent's job is to be creative, to explore different options, or do research, let it use tools freely. Give it that flexibility. But if the agent is part of a structured business process, if it's acting like an employee with a specific job, its behavior has to be predictable. And for that, the JSON output method is, without a doubt, the way to go.
Okay, so we've looked at a few different ways to build these things. After all that, what's the one key idea I want you to remember? It's this right here. This is the North Star for building AI automations that actually work and scale. Let the agent think, and let the platform act.
So, what's the big takeaway here? Look, all three of these models have their place. You're probably going to start with that simple all-in-one approach, but as your project gets more serious, you'll naturally move towards separating these roles. Because the core principle, the thing that will save you time and headaches, is this. Let the agent do the thinking, and let your platform do the acting. That separation is what makes your automations both incredibly smart and reliably stable.
By the way, all the ideas and diagrams we've gone over today come from a fantastic article over on the Latenode community forum. If you really want to dig in and understand these models on a deeper level, I highly recommend checking it out. It's got detailed examples plus all the diagrams we just reviewed. We've dropped a link for you down in the description.
Hey, if this was helpful for you, do me a favor and share it with someone else you think might get some value out of it. Thanks so much for watching.